Today's story is Old Sly Eye from pages 132 to 138. So a little bit about this story. The story's setting is the late 1600s in New Hampshire on a farm. So something interesting you'll notice about this story is the way that the people talk. For example, on the first page, page 132, the way the dad is talking, he says, "Yes, my lad, I know how much you would like to come along, but 'tis your duty to stay behind and look after your mother and sister, and mind ye keep a good watch." So this is kind of an odd way to speak, but it's because the story was set a long time ago and people spoke in a different way. All right, this is also a fictional story with a third-person point of view. And the protagonist is a probably teenage boy called Alvin Hastings. And you'll find throughout the story that Alvin is extremely courageous. He's very responsible. He's resourceful, meaning when he's in a bad situation, he looks around and he figures out what he can do with the things he has around him. But he's also very level-headed. And by that I mean when he's in a really scary situation, he thinks very carefully. He doesn't lose his mind. He's not so afraid that he can't think, right? He thinks through the possibilities very carefully. He thinks each action he's going to take, how that affects his mom and his sister, and he chooses his path very carefully. All right, so the main conflict here is between Alvin and the panther. So previously, Albin's dad had warned him about the panther, and at the beginning of the story, he realizes the panther has killed one of their baby cows, their calf, right? And he's really angry at the panther at first. So you'll see on page 132, when he realizes that the calf has died, he says, it was killed by the big one-eyed panther that often killed for the mere sake of killing. So this gives us the idea, or gives us the feeling that the panther is just kind of mean, and it makes us on Albin's side, right? We feel bad for Albin and we are rooting for him to win. All right, a few literary terms. Onomatopoeia is a sound word, right? And there's a lot of sound words in this story, like creaking, thump, swish, and snarl. And then the author uses a lot of figurative language, especially to talk about Albin's fear. So at first he's angry with the panther, but then he becomes afraid, especially when he realizes the panther's inside the house. So it says, he felt his heart tighten and his throat suddenly go dry. Albin felt the tumultuous pounding of his heart, with the feeling of icy water cascading down his spine. I don't know if you've ever felt really afraid, but sometimes it feels like there's cold water going down your back, right? When you're really afraid. Perspiration bathed his face, neck, and armpits. With cold hands, set his teeth to chattering. So these are all very descriptive words of how afraid Albin feels at this time. So he's not only afraid for himself, but as soon as he remembers that his mom and sister will be coming back soon, he knows that they'll open the door and they won't have any way to protect themselves. So he's really afraid because it's his job to protect them. Then at the end of the story, when he shoots the panther, the author again uses figurative language. On page 137, it says, "A tongue of flame flashed from the musket, and the crash sent echoes flying. They continued to tremble across the moonlit clearing while the panther lay twitching on the grass." So we can see that Albin shot the gun and hit the panther, and the panther died, right? But the way the author writes it gives us this really interesting mental picture, right? It's more exciting than just Albin shot the panther and the panther died. Okay, we also see flashback in this story. It's toward the beginning when the author is telling us that Albin's dad and Mr. Wainwright are going on a trapping expedition, and Albin's dad is telling him about the panther and warning him, right? So the authors use flashbacks for a variety of reasons, but in this story, it's giving us the key details we need to know about the panther and the danger without giving us too much information. If they had set the story back to when his dad left, then it might have just given us a lot of unnecessary information and made the story kind of boring. So the author is just giving us the main details we need in as quickly and concisely as possible. So this unit is about courage, and a lot of the stories we read are actually people who are not courageous. But this story, and Albin is a great example of courage. Not only does he act courageously, but he protects his mom and his sister. Even at the end, when he decides he's going to grab his gun and run out so he can shoot the panther, he has one chance to shoot, right? These are old style guns where it would take you a really long time to reload. So he knows he has only one chance, and he's smart, and he runs out to where he can see clearly, and he knows he won't miss, right? So Albin is a really cool character, and he makes for a good story. I hope you enjoyed the story, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.